My grandparents were huge in the outdoors. They were mountain climbers, they were map makers, and they instilled in me from a very young age a passion for environmental issues. And I've always been pretty outgoing and persuasive. So when I was 19 years old and I found myself living in Chicago, and I got a job going door to door fundraising for an environmental group, I thought, hey, this is perfect. But one thing I lacked as a young man in the big city was confidence. And if there's one thing you need when you're asking people for money on their doorstep, it's confidence. So after a full month on the job, I still hadn't had a great night, which is raising more than $200. In fact, I was barely averaging enough to avoid getting fired. And then one night, early in the evening, in the city, everything changed. I knocked on a duplex door, and a woman in her mid-30s, wearing a black evening dress, opened it up. I launched into my spiel, which was basically, hi, my name is Matt. Newt Gingrich is trying to poison your drinking water, and if you give me $50, I will stop him. She cuts me right off, and she's like, I'm not giving you any money. Then she says, I'll give you a bong hit, but no money. And I'm thinking, geez, if I get caught doing that, I'll definitely get fired. But I'm probably getting fired anyway, so fuck it, let's get high. So I go in and we smoke up, we get all high, I'm telling her stuff. I'm like, Newt doesn't get it, baby. Yeah, you get it, we get it. And in fact, I didn't mention this out front, but the individual household membership, that's actually only $35. And she's like, what are you doing? I told you I'm not going to give you any money. And I'm like, all right, I got to get out of here. I got to raise some dough. And so she says, all right, nice to meet you. I leave. 30 seconds later, she comes chasing me down the block. She's like, Matt, come back. I'm like, I knew she wanted to give. And I'm like, what's going on? She says, you got to help me. There's a bird in my kitchen. I don't have any idea what this means, but I'm thinking, there's some loot involved. And I say, all right, no problem. Let's show me this bird. And so we go into her kitchen, and there's this little sparrow that's like caught between this ivy and her window, and it's freaking out, flapping its wings. And I've never touched a bird in my life, but I look at that bird and I just say to the lady, here, hold my clipboard. I go up, I cup my hands around its wings, I get it out of the ivy, I walk it over to the open patio door it had flown in, and with the woman looking over my shoulder, both of us high as shit, I release it safely into the skies. And the woman goes, that was amazing. And I spin around and I go, you know what's also amazing? The basic membership is only $25. And she's like, I'm not giving you any money. And I'm like, we're going to lose. Newt's going to win. I'm going to get fired. This sucks. But she's like, that was great. Let's go out to my front stoop and share a cigarette in celebration. I'm like, all right, sure. So we get out to her front stoop, and as soon as we get out there, a wind picks up, and it blows through her patio door out back, down the long hallway, and it slams her front door shut. It's locked. She starts freaking out. She's like, I got food on the stove. My house is gonna burn down. And I'm like, don't worry, lady. I've got this. I don't know how. There's got to be a way to get to that back patio. And she says, yeah, but it's blocked by a giant wooden wall. And I'm like, show me this wall. Sure enough, giant wooden wall. It's 8 feet tall, and I'm thinking, I'm athletic. I can run. I can grab the top of that wall, swing my ass over. I say to the lady, hold my clipboard. I take a running jump. I grab the top of the wall, and it's protected by nails, tip up, all across the top of the wall. I scrape my hands, my wrists. I fall to the ground in pain. Ah! The woman goes, I forgot about the nails. I'm like, you knew about those nails? But then I analyzed the wall, and right up top in the middle, there's a patch of dried cement about the width of one hand, just tall enough to cover the tips of the nails. And so I run again. I put one hand over the other. I grab in that spot, and I swing my ass over that wall. I'm in the backyard. I walk through the patio door, down the long hall. I swing the door open. She's now standing on her own stoop, holding my clipboard. And I declare the introductory membership is only $15. And she says, I can't believe you're still asking me for money. I'm thinking, I can't believe you haven't given it to me yet. What have I got to do? And she's like, but you are a lifesaver. She unlocks the door. We sit down. We have our cigarette. And a moment of calm arrives. And I look at my wrist. And a little bit of blood has beaded up and is now dripping down my wrist. And I just hold it up. And I go, look, blood. And she looks at my wrist. Then she looks me in the eyes and says, I'll get my checkbook. She comes back, gives me $20 and says, 5 for the bird, 5 for the wall, 10 for the blood. I end up running from door to door that night. I end up raising $206. I go back to the office and get promoted. I ended up doing that job for more than 8 years. My grandparents were extremely proud of me. After 5 years in, I met the woman who became my wife. We now have 2 beautiful kids, and they are breathing cleaner air and drinking cleaner water, partly as a result of the victories that I was a part of. And if you look at my wrist to this day, you can still see the scar. Thank you very much.